Welcome to Before the Council, a reading of the Revere City Council Agenda for the meeting of Monday, November 3rd, 2014. There are 7 items on the agenda this week. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. with a salute to the flag, the roll call of members, and the approval of the journal of the meeting held on October 27th, 2014. Then it's on to calendar item number 1. A public hearing called as ordered pursuant to Council Order 14-230 upon the establishment of the minimum residential factor for fiscal year 2015. Calendar item number 2. Under unfinished business, pursuant to Council Order 14-231, this is regarding the communication from the Board of Assessors requesting acceptance of Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986 as amended by Chapter 126 of the Acts of 1988 and a cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 2015. The communication dated October 21st, 2014. Dear Honorable City Council, in accordance with Section 4 of Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986, as amended by Chapter 126 of the Acts of 1988, we request the City accept the provisions of the Act to grant additional real estate tax exemptions to persons who qualify under Section 5 of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, for property tax exemptions in Clauses 17, 17C1, 17.5c, 17d, 22, 22b, 22d, 22e, 37, 37a, 41, 41b, and 41c. Also, in accordance with the Informational Guideline Release, IGR, number 12-206, under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5, we request approval of a cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 2015 for the statutory exemption forms 17D and 41C by 1.37%. The cost of living adjustment, COLA, is measured by the increase in the United States Department of Labor Bureau of Statistics Consumer Price Index for Urban Consumers, Boston, CPI-U, for the previous year. The Commissioner of Revenue has determined the cost of living adjustment to be used in fiscal year 2015 by communities that have adopted certain local options. These options allow community to increase annually the exemption amount granted to senior citizens and surviving spouses and minors under clauses 17, 17C, 17C and a half, or 17D. Assets limitations for determining if senior citizens and surviving spouses and minors qualify for exemptions under clauses 17, 17C, 17C and a half, or 17D. Income and asset limits for determining if senior citizens qualify for exemption under clauses 41, 41B, or 41C. And it's signed sincerely, Andrew A. Iavana, the Chair of the Revere Board of Assessors, Dana Brangiaforti, a member and the Office Manager for the Revere Board of Assessors, and John J. Varengia, member of the Revere Board of Assessors. Calendar item number 3. This is a communication from the Mayor relative to the final appropriations to the fiscal year 2015 budget dated October 30th, 2014. Dear Council members, the City has agreed to participate in the Taxpayer Assistance Project with the Department of Revenue through George Anzoni, the Director of Finance. This program provides the necessary resources for the earlier setting of a tax rate for the fiscal year. This is beneficial to the City and the DOR with regards to scheduling and fiscal relations. The departments involved with the setting of the FY15 tax rate have been meeting amongst themselves along with representatives from the DOR over the past few months. We have now reached the point where we are asking for the approval of the minimal residential factor, the MRF, and the City Council acceptance of the LA-5 options certification state forms. In order to proceed, these final appropriations are required and need to be voted on by your honorable body. First, you may recall that during the FY15 budget deliberations, I had stated that the Regional Emergency Communications Center, the RECC, introduced several years ago under my predecessor, Tom Ambrosino, would come online during this fiscal year. Further, that this budget FY15 had no provision in it for this new RECC, largely because an RECC budget had not been finalized and no decision had been made regarding a start date. The plan was to transition our present call takers and dispatchers to this new separate entity along with the newly hired employees and go into full operations in January 2015. Now the expected start date is February 1st, 2015. We now know that the additional appropriation required is $270,000 and should be added into the Regional Emergency Communications Center operations account. Also, our Management Information Director, Glenn DeRosa, has notified me that because of circumstances beyond his control and the implementation and development of our new 40U program, for the Inspectional Services Department, I am requesting a total appropriation of $117,526 to be approved and included in the MIS Computer Operations Fund. Lastly, the city has settled worker compensation claims for very reasonable sums to avoid future indemnity, medical, and legal fees. These settlements have reduced the exposure to the city that could have resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional claims. The amount to be appropriated to settle these claims is $115,000, and it is to be added to our workers' compensation account. In closing, I urge the City Council to approve the minimum residential factor and these appropriations at Monday night's meeting in order for the city to be in compliance with the TAP. The city is on target to be a month earlier this year than last year. I am most delighted to report that there are no further utilization of free cash or stabilization funds necessary to accomplish these goals. Very truly yours, Daniel Rizzo, Mayor. Calendar item number 4. This is a communication from Ms. Heather Siegel DeMuro relative to addressing the council on truck convoys using Winthrop Avenue. Dated October 9th, 2014. Honorable Council, I would like to appear before the next council meeting to discuss the disruption of peace and quiet on Winthrop Parkway due to the constant truck convoys Monday through Friday due to the Winthrop Beach project, and it's signed sincerely, Heather Siegel DeMuro. Calendar item number 5. This is a communication from Joseph A. Festa proposing to donate land for conservation purposes on Bates Streets, lots 45, 46, 47, and 48 Bates Street, MBP 018-323-045. Dated October 28, 2014, dear members of the Council. I am writing this letter to officially propose a donation of land for conservation purposes. The land is located on Bates Street in Revere, Massachusetts, and was recently approved by the Revere Conservation Commission. I respectfully request to be on the agenda at the next Revere City Council meeting. Sincerely, Joseph A. Festa. Calendar item number 6. This is a communication from Joseph A. Festa, Jr. and John V. Festa, proposing to donate land for conservation purposes on Douglas Street, lots 206, 207, 208, and 209 Douglas Street, MBP 019-327A-017, 018, 019, and 020. Dear members of the Council, I am writing this letter to officially propose a donation of land for conservation purposes. The land is located on Douglas Street in Revere, Massachusetts, and was recently approved by the Revere Conservation Commission. I respectfully request to be on the agenda at the next Revere City Council meeting, and it's signed by Joseph A. Festa, Jr. Calendar item number 7. Pursuant to Council Order 14-237, this is a motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the mayor requests the DCR to install a new sidewalk on Ocean Avenue between number 376 Ocean Avenue and Beach Street. This request is being made due to injuries to local pedestrians. Copies of the motion shall be forwarded to the state delegation. And this has been before the Council, a reading of the Revere City Council Agenda for the meeting of Monday, November 3rd, 2014. I'm Rick Promise, and I'll see you at the Council.